and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Serious is overrated, every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town but in a jest, Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my God. Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Man, oh man, oh man, are we going to have a good day? So much for being a few hours already. Good to see you, Denise. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Man, Stormy, I don't know how he does it. Maybe he's much younger than me. Probably I also might be half crazy. You never know. Oh my gosh, oh gosh, guys, you just have no idea. You have no idea the silliness that we're about to witness here. It gets good. It's really good. The salty tears have begun to show, and all of a sudden they're in such a bad place this wonderful morning, and the only thing that I can do is sit back and watch the silliness. You're gonna love this. Here we go. Yes.
No fair. My body, my choice. Well, here's an alternative thought. Make your own dinner, MAGA. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears. Troll amongst yourselves with Elon and leave us alone. You got your heart's desire, the president you dreamed of, and worship instead of Jesus. And this time, you didn't even have to storm the Capitol, smash the windows, or try to kill police officers or issue death threats to poll workers. See? You did it just by voting this time. Congrats. Way. And he even got away with breaking the law. Yay.
My show had value. And that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you.
No fair.
So how did that work out for you there, sweetheart? Did it work out well? You got removed from your show. Woe is me. Do I feel bad? Oh no, I don't feel bad at all. Well, Joy Reid literally bawls tears of regret. You might have caught Matt Margolis reporting from earlier this week that MSNBC race lady Joy Ann Reid, her personal favorite pet of news cable lesbian kingpin who maintains a brutal reign of terror through sheer testicular fortitude, Rachel Maddow, lost her job in a vicious anti-DEA DEI hate crime by Progressive Network. Where is Al Sharpton when you need him? And why is he not marching on 30 Rock? Oh, that's right. He works at MSNBC too for now, and he's nothing if not loyal to his master. Joy Reid literally cried about her firing after mocking white women for crying in public, and Town Hall got that clip also. I'm not going to play it because it has music. My show had value. What I was doing had value, and in the end, I try not to cry. I've been through every emotion: anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, guilt. You know, a feeling that team lose their jobs. This stuff really tugs at your heartstrings. Well, Maddow set aside her toxic masculinity to eulogize her lost comrade in arms and castigating management for showing her the door. Oh, did she now? Because you know, I want to say that there was quite a few people that had a lot to say to Rachel Maddow. They had quite a lot to say. Like this. Well, we'll see. Oh. Oh. Hey, Skipper, how's it going? Uh-huh. Oh, so much. Yeah. But you did. Oh. 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 Did you ever think maybe the news station is going, your lies aren't fitting in with us? Yeah, that's you're not hearing it? No video. That's why, because I'm an idiot. All right. Fire me up. There we go.
PM hour all the other nights except for Mondays. So that's a big change.
Helps if I pay
An
attention
even
over here
bigger
sometimes.
programming change is at 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12.
Oh,
and I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But
no, you're right.
In all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime.
Because did you ever think maybe that color doesn't matter? Color doesn't matter. How about skill? How about reporting the truth and not making things up because you wanted to fit the narrative? Bye-bye, Butch. Yeah.
both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend.
Oh, well, she's
And that feels
white.
worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Then don't.
But there's just
There's
one other
the
piece of
door.
it that you should know.
Here's the thing, Rachel. If you don't like it, pack your bags and go. Oh, that's right. It's easier to talk bad about people without actually deciding to hop on the bandwagon and do this in protest. Yeah. Why haven't you left there? Oh, is she done yet? What, Shizzy? We can't handle the truth. That's about right, isn't it? With an S neck like that, she could play linebacker.
From your side of the TV screen, you will mostly see changes in terms of who's in the anchor chair. And actually, everybody who's going to be in anchor chairs from here on out are great colleagues and great at what they do. And you are not going to be disappointed in who's on our air and what you're going to be seeing.
Do you ever think that maybe she thought that everybody was evil and horrible? I mean, MSNBC has a new candidate to get rid of. Well, this is MSNBC has been flailing for quite some time because people are sick and tired of hearing the lies, the half truths. And you're gonna see quite a bit of this happen all across the board. You're going to see these happen on Fox News, on MSNBC, CBS, because they're losing viewers. And they, instead of what they've been doing for quite some time, instead of actually looking at who is the problem there, they've been blaming other TV stations. And if you've ever watched any of the big major news channels, and this goes for Fox, CNN, CSB, whatever. Whenever you have one of these reporters, they're in this competition of doing whatever it is that they're doing, of reporting. So each one is trying to outdo the next, and they don't want to report the news. Part of it is what the news stations are telling them. They get their marching orders, but they've got this idea that somebody is bad or somebody is evil, so they'll talk bad about another TV station. They'll go on the attack for them, and most people are just like, I don't. If I wanted to know what CNN was saying or MSNBC or Fox News was saying, I'd go watch them. Nobody's watching them. Nobody's interested because they don't tell you the story, or they're telling you the news from a skewed point of view instead of just telling you why something happened or how something happened. It becomes this very distorted view of what they think happened. It becomes more of an opinion piece. Yeah, Godfather Trump, shut that down.
But one thing you cannot necessarily see is that the people who get our shows on the air,
they're boomers. They screw up. And you tell them they're okay to do bad things. You've been telling people it's okay if you hate Whitey, if you hate veterans, if you hate the shoes, or hate whatever. You spread lies, disinformation. Part of it is the marching orders from your network TV stations that give you those marching orders. How many times have we seen local news that's just repeating the same thing? It's they're given a line to read. They don't have any independent thought, because you see what happens whenever you have independent thought. This is what you end up with.
they're really being put through the ringer. Dozens of producers and staffers, including some who are among the most experienced and most talented and most specialist producers in the building, are facing being laid off.
Yep.
They're being invited to reapply for new jobs.
Well, that's not MSNBC. That's the government. Well, I mean, is MSNBC doing that? If they are, good for them. They're cutting the fat. You know, they're taking away the ridiculous jobs of, like, you know, your makeup artist because, well, or maybe they have undocumented workers. Isn't that what you like to call those people? Undocumented workers? Now, how would Rachel feel if she came into work tomorrow and they said, you know what, we're replacing you with somebody that's not from this country. We're going to pay them 1/3 of what we pay you, Rachel, and they're going to do your job. Well, why would you do such a thing? Well, because I don't have to pay them as much, and it doesn't really matter if they understand English even, because, well, nobody. It'll be more entertaining to watch someone like completely mess up on camera. Mm-hmm.
That has never happened at this scale in this way before when it comes to programming changes, presumably
right.
because it's not the right way to treat people, and it's inefficient and it's unnecessary, and it kind of drops the bottom out of whether or not people feel like this is a good place to work. And so we don't generally do things that way.
Well, then pack up your bags and go. Really easy. And our ratings are down because of you there, Rachel.
Maybe all of our folks, including most of the people who are getting this very show on the air right now, maybe they will all get new jobs here, and I hope they do. But in the meantime, being put in this kind of limbo, the anxiety and the discomfort.
Words? The anxiety of not knowing if you're going to have a job tomorrow. Oh, now you know what it feels like in a right to work state. Now you're sort of getting the gist of it. You know how to find out if your job's not in trouble? Do your freaking job and do it well. Do it to the best of your ability. That's the best way to figure out if you're going to have a job tomorrow. Don't be the one in the office causing drama or spreading little lies, spreading little rumors. You want to have your job. Do the best job that you can do. Then it doesn't matter, because whenever they come in there and they say, we're going to have to let you go, you go, all right, cool. And you pack your bags, you go, and you get a job elsewhere. And you're not going to have a problem finding a job because you know that you have the skills. There's a certain kind of confidence that you have to have going into the job market and know your abilities. And you can't just be winging it. I would never take a job as a cameraman at MSNBC because I would probably screw that up royally. But this is the level of people that they have. It's like the writers for Saturday Night Live. It's just like it's horrible writing, horrible acting, horrible. But they keep them on, hoping they'll get better.
Population is off the charts at a time when this job already is extra stressful and difficult. It is not news for me to tell you that the press and freedom of the press are under attack in a way that is really. It's a big deal for our country. It's very visceral for us here. I know that the business of the press is not an easy thing, and I know that
Oh, the business of the press, sweetheart, you haven't been in business business of the press in a long time, so you can cut with that. You've been just basically a mouthpiece for the left. You're a puppet, and it's starting to sink in that you've been a puppet the whole time. It's everything that you wanted. It's everything that you wanted to have happen. Sucks, doesn't it? Whenever everything you've been asking for happens. Oh, she gets paid millions. Yeah.
no job is forever. But I think I'm safe in saying for all of us anchors who through the TV, please know that what pains us the most is not what happens to us. It is what happens to our coworkers on whom we depend and who you don't necessarily know, but we respect and love them and depend on them. And did I mention we respect them?
I live for the lefty meltdowns. Yeah, it is fun sometimes.
This is a difficult time in the news business.
Oh, is it really? Is it really? You realize that your ratings suck so bad that someone like Dan Bongino, which would report the news, they actually invite him back. just one, let me put it to you this way. Just one of Dan Bongino's shows drew more eyes on him and on what he was talking about than a whole week of what she would do in reporting the news.
But it does not need to be this difficult. We welcome new voices to this place and some familiar voices to new hours. It's going to be great, honestly, and we want to grow and succeed and reach more people than ever and be resilient and stay here forever. I also believe, and I bet you believe, that the way to get there is by treating people well. Finding good people, good colleagues, doing good work with them, and then having their back.
Sweetheart, it's not about having people's back. It's about them doing their effing job. Yeah, the other people that created cancel culture, that is absolutely correct.
That we could do a lot better on. A lot better.
Oh.
I'll be right back.
Oh, wah. I can't handle the pain. I can't handle the pain. Yeah. Yeah, these are the people that do not want you around. They don't like you. They haven't liked you in quite some time. You know, I had someone ask me not too long ago, hey, so why don't I read what's on the AP anymore? For the same reason. For the same reason. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Now, we've seen what's been going on with the government. They've come in, and Trump backs Musk as he roils the federal workforce with demands and threats. Washington President Donald Trump backed Elon Musk's demand that federal employees explain their recent accomplishments by the end of Monday or risk getting fired, even as the government agency officials were told that compliance with Musk's edict was voluntarily. Confusion and anger over the situation spawned new litigation and added turmoil within the federal workforce. Turmoil, that's their favorite new word. What he's doing is saying, are you actually working? Trump said in the Oval Office during a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. And then if you don't answer, like if you're sort of semi-fired, you're fired, because a lot of people aren't answering because they don't even exist. The Republican president said Musk's Department of Government Efficacy, or better known as DOGE, has found hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, and he suggested that federal paychecks are going to non-existent employees. He did not present evidence for his claims. Even as Trump and Musk pressed their case, the Office of Personnel Management informed agency leaders that their workers were not required to respond by the deadline of midnight Monday, according to a person with knowledge of the conversation who requested anonymity to discuss internal matters. Then they didn't exist. If you have to be anonymous, then you probably don't exist, or you're making crap up. The conflict directives led to varying advice for federal employees depending on where they work. Some were told to answer the request for a list of 5 things that they did last week. Others were informed it was optional, and others were directed not to answer at all. Musk bristled at resistance, saying federal workers hate even the tiniest amount of accountability. He continued to threaten firings hours after employees were told that they need not comply with his demands. Subject to the discretion of the president, they will be given another chance, he boasted on X. Failure to respond a second time will result in termination. Well, and attorneys representing unions, business, veterans, and conservation organizations filed an updated lawsuit in federal court in California on Monday, arguing Musk had violated the law by threatening mass firings. The lawsuit, spearheaded by the State Democracy Defenders Fund, go figure, DEI company right there, called it one of the most massive employee frauds in the history of this country. Anna Kelly, White House Deputy Press Secretary, criticized litigation by saying the time it took these employees on taxpayer-funded salaries to file a frivolous lawsuit, they could have briefly recapped their accomplishments to their managers, as is common in the private sector, 100 times over. Musk is leading Trump's efforts. No, I'm not giving you crap, AP, because you're horrible on your reporting. And that's why I bring this up, because this is why I stopped even talking about AP, because they take things out of context for all of this. Every single bit of it, they take it out of context. And whenever you actually hear what was being said, instead of them just saying it, this is what President Trump had to say. This is what the president had to say right here.
You're talking about the last email that was sent where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great. Because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist.
And this makes sense. If you send out an email and it goes to an inbox and just sits there, nobody responds to it, that means that they probably don't exist. Like I have an old email address that I check maybe once a year, or I think I have something that I may have to check it. It gets hundreds of emails. I mean, I still exist, but I don't use that email. And I think my wife has the same email address. I think like a Bell South email address that she had long time ago. I don't think she's touched that thing in years. But if you're a government worker, you have a government email address. It'll be some like .gov email address, and you should be responding to anything that comes across your desk because that's your job. If I stopped answering emails at my job, I would be fired if I didn't respond. So why won't these people expect the same kind of thing?
They're trying to find, that's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group. So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And, you know, where's all that? Where's the money gone? We have found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far, and we've just started. We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there, because maybe somebody stole the gold, tons of gold. So I think it was actually, there was a lot of genius in sending it. We're trying to find out if people are working. And so we're sending a letter to people, please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such. You're talking about.
Exactly. Same SSI recipients over 200 years old. Yes, this is what our why Trump put together this in the first place. This is why this was put together in the first place, and it should strike fear into every single person that works for the government. It should work for every single one of them. And I just love watching them lose their minds over it. I mean, they are absolutely flipping the hell out. Like this lovely young lady right here. Oh.
Good morning. Come with me to the IRS as a federal employee who is about to get fired. So last night I got the call to bring my equipment in today, even though today is not an in-person day for me. I have been working at the IRS for about 7 months, so that makes me a probationary.
7 months. That makes me a probationary. And it has music, so I'm gonna have to. I can't play this one. But she's all upset because she's gonna get removed. Yeah. Bye, baby, bye, cry a little more. And this was the response of somebody else. Here we go. Let's see what she had to say.
Okay, so I am a federal employee that got an email this Saturday, basically stating that I needed to highlight 5 accomplishments that I had last week. And to me, that was not a huge deal. I am someone who likes to highlight my accomplishments, and it was sent over in about a email that took me six minutes, something like that. I used to work for the private sector for about 13 years, so I was held accountable every day. I had lists of things that needed to be done every day, and it was just not a big deal to me to send that out. So I just want to say that. I would say highlight the things that you do. Highlight, who you are as a federal employee and the things that you're accomplishing. Like, just say it. I would encourage you to do that.
Hey, how's it going, Diane G? Good to see you. Yes. Not really hard, was it? Not really hard to do. But some of these folks, they don't really want to do that. They want to highlight that Trump is coming after them. He's breaking their little fifis. Breaking the little fifis. Woe is me. But this guy probably hits it the best whenever he says exactly what the rest of the world is thinking right here. This man.
Y'all did all that shit about Elon. Talking all that shit about Elon, talking about Elon having y'all down and all that bullshit, like he give a fuck about the negative $3.42 that's in your motherfucking bank account. He don't give a fuck. Y'all did all that shit talking about Elon, but Elon the only motherfucker out this bitch trying to recover the goddamn money that they took from us. He the only motherfucker putting in work, and I'm talking about he running it down. He running that bitch down like a bloodhound. Y'all doing all that motherfucking talking about Elon. Y'all let these motherfucking aristocrats get in y'all head that y'all data is so motherfucking important to Elon because they don't want Elon in their goddamn business. That's what it is. They don't want Elon digging in their shit because they know that they got $100,000 salary, but they net worth is $10 million. How the fuck that work? What you been investing in? Let me know so I can get with the program. But y'all doing all that. Don't y'all letting these aristocrats get it in y'all head, but they steady uncovering where the money been fucking going this whole time. They want y'all to get on y'all. They want y'all to get on their side because they know Elon finna figure that shit out. That motherfucker ain't bullshit. Y'all wasn't worried about your data getting breached when Apple had your shit, when Google had your shit, Netflix had your shit. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up and just enjoy the money that's finna get ready to start coming around. God damn.
God damn. I love that guy. And Shannon, I'm sorry to hear that. See, this is exactly the point right there. You're laid off from your 16 plus year job during the Rona so they can cry me a dang river. And you have to remember that the federal employees, the mayors, city councilmen, they're on the payroll. They kept getting paid while they were telling you to wear the masks, while they were telling you to stay home, while they were telling you that you're evil, horrible people. For how many years? And they were sitting there collecting a paycheck the whole time. It shows you how inefficient that the government is and how much work that some of these people don't do. If you missed this live too many times, well, Mel, you're not missing anything. You're right here. Look how many. Thank you so much for the $5 super. Oh, I just noticed that was a $5. Mel, good to see you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Let me get you a star on the helmet there. Bing bong, ding dong, right there. There we go. That is for you. That is for you. Thank you so much, Mel. I appreciate you. That is awesome. You don't miss the lives too many times. You need coffee? Yeah, I think it's about time to grab a little cup of coffee. Let's throw a little bit of music in here, and we're gonna get some coffee this morning. Give me just a second. I gotta find the good one here. I got a really good one here for you, so you guys can just enjoy some otters. How's that? Some otters. No dance this morning. Just a little bit of otters. A little more chill. I'll be right back in just a short bit.
chat, we thrive. Where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We live in pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screams, to inside jokes and endless memes. We talk in Shizzy winners chat, we thrive. Where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We live in pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screens, and inside jokes and endless memes. In Shizzy winners chat, we thrive. Where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We live in pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screens, and inside jokes and endless memes. We type our hearts, we spam the love. Our chat rooms like a lit up club. Our chat rooms like a lit up club. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We live in pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. Ooh, yeah, we come together night and day. We laugh, we play in our own way. A family in a cyberspace, loving hearts in this virtual place. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We live in pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream.
My show had value, and that I'm sorry that that what I was doing had value, and in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV, and this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted, and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country.
And you wonder why you lost your job.
Whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed, and
that look on his face is just like, yeah.
Where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. and you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God, and so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Well, you can't be proud of your show. You ain't got no show no more. Joy, it is a joyful time that you will not be on TV anymore. You are one hateful person. All you did was raise bait. All you did was tell lies. You were nothing but fake news. And you know, and Black History Month is almost over, so this is a great way to end it, getting rid of you. Oh my goodness, these pancakes taste so better when you crying. Let's go. Get rid of The View next. Joe Behar and Whoopi and all them. Get rid of them next. But Joy, I don't like you, but listen, regardless how much I don't like you, you do deserve to eat. So to help you get over this, I'm gonna send you a box of my cousin T's pancakes. I'm gonna send you the victory ones. Yeah, This is a great victory. We got rid of you. That's a great victory. So I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna send you some of my syrup too. This is gonna be real good. But get on Indeed too. They got a lot of job postings on there. Or go on Craigslist and find some jobs on there. I don't know. You got to do something, but you can't be sitting around doing nothing. Okay.
Terrence is so awesome. I love it. I love the responses of these people. This is another guy I really enjoyed so much. Are they more concerned with the babies being bombed in a different country while they support ripping ours out of a womb? Yes, isn't that weird how that happens? Oh, that is the best. That is absolutely true. Good morning, Killdozered. All right, let's bring up this next young man. I love him.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take.
No, it's not. People are tired of those terrible takes. Just the consistent race baiting about skin, just speaking in a derogatory manner towards white people, pushing a bunch of just fear mongering. Yeah, the show sucked. But that's not even the main point of this video. I'm gonna fast forward to the end of what Rachel Maddow was saying, and I want you to pay attention, because this is the problem with how the modern left thinks.
That on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
She says this feels indefensible. Yeah, like Joy Reid's show's ratings declined by like 50%. Nobody was watching her show. Let's think about what Rachel Maddow just said. It's indefensible to let those people of color go while you're not letting any white people go. Even if the white people that are on your network are bringing in far more ratings, drive far more revenue for your business, it's still indefensible to let those people of color go simply because they're people of color. Even if they're costing the business money, even if they're not driving the revenue that the business thinks they should be driving, you're supposed to keep them on and fire the white people, because the white people are white and these are people of color, and you keep people of color on no matter how poor they perform. This is the problem with the modern left's way of thinking, and I'm so glad that they do not have control of our government anymore. That's why Kamala Harris was there in the first place. Joe Biden literally said, I'm going to make a woman my vice president. He didn't say I'm going to go find the best candidate for the job. He didn't go say I'm going to find the best VP. No, he was going to go get him a black woman. And the left has actually been a victim of that, because since they weren't optimizing for merit or for the best candidate, they were optimizing for skin color and gender. They ended up with a terrible candidate, and it cost them big time. But they still haven't figured this out yet. But this is why we do not need to let these people have control of the government. They will make your life worse for the sake of racial diversity and gender diversity. it is a problem. Joy Reid's show got canned because she consistently posted a bunch of racist propaganda meant to divide people and get them to hate the right. And people woke up to that or got tired of hearing it and stopped tuning in. Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck. Yes. So, yeah, I'm amazed to see people wake up. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Yes, it is a beautiful thing to watch. It is an absolute wonderful thing to see. The case against Child Protective Services, why it's time to abolish CPS. In America, the idea of family is sacred. The home is supposed to be a place where parents raise their children according to their values, free from unnecessary government intrusion. Yet, for too many families, CPS has turned that ideal into a nightmare, armed with unchecked power. CPS often removes children from their homes without due process, ripping families apart based on flimsy allegations, anonymous tips, or outright fabrications. It's time to recognize the truth. CPS is a broke system that operates outside the bounds of constitutional rights, and it should be abolished. CPS as we know it today evolved over time rather than being created by a single act of legislation or under one specific federal agency. The idea of child welfare intervention in the U.S. dates back to the 19th century, when modern CPS system was largely shaped by federal policies in the 20th century. The first child protection agency in the U.S. was in New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, founded in 1874 after the famous case of Mary Ellen Wilson, a severely abused child. This case set a precedent for the state intervention in child welfare. Over time, states began developing their own child welfare agencies, but there was no centralized federal oversight. The Social Security Act of 1935 marked the federal government's first major role in child welfare, creating Title 4B, which provided funding for children welfare services. CAPTA of 1974 was the first federal law requiring states to establish procedures for investigating child abuse and neglect. This law led to the formalization of CPS agency in all 50 states. The Adoption Assistance in Child Welfare Act of 1980 and later the adoption of Safe Families Act of 1997 further shaped CPS policy, emphasizing foster care, adoptions, and permanency planning. CPS itself is not a federal agency, but it's run at the state level. However, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services oversees national child welfare funding and guidelines through the Administration for Children and Families. The creation of Children's Bureau was within the Department of Labor in 1912 was one of the earliest federal efforts to address child welfare. This later moved under HHS when it was established in 1980. Originally, CPS and related child welfare laws were intended to protect children from severe abuse and neglect. However, the system has expanded its reach dramatically, often intervening in cases where families are simply struggling with poverty, medical disagreements, or bureaucratic misinterpretations. The incentive structure ties federal funding to have created perverse motives where removing children is financially beneficial for states and foster care agencies. The mandatory reporter is another culprit. The concept of mandatory reporting in the United States emerged in the early 1960s, driven by a growing recognition of child abuse as a significant societal issue. By 1967, all states had enacted laws requiring certain professionals to report suspected child maltreatment. The aforementioned CAPTA mandated that states implement mandatory reporting laws as conditions for receiving federal funding for child welfare programs. While CAPTA set the framework, it granted states the discretion to define who qualifies as a mandated reporter and specific procedures for reporting. Typically, mandated reporters include professionals who have regular contact with children, such as healthcare providers, teachers and school personnel, social workers, law enforcement officers, and child care providers. In summary, mandatory reporting laws were instituted to protect vulnerable children by ensuring that professionals who are in positions to identify abuse report their suspicions to the appropriate authorities. However, this policy has caused far more harm than good with unchecked authority and flagrant rights violation. The mandatory reporter system became a weapon against families with a tool for state overreach, putting innocent families under suspicion for the slightest complaint. The idea that any professional who even suspects abuse must report it has led to countless wrongful investigations and devastating family separations. A rebellious teenager angry at her parents can make one emotional accusation and CPS will swoop in without evidence. A bitter ex-spouse in a custody battle can weaponize false allegations, knowing CPS will default to removing children first and sorting out the truth later. In far too many cases, CPS takes custody without cause, forcing parents to fight for years, sometimes even a decade, just to get their children back. Meanwhile, the judges who are supposed to protect constitutional rights are failing at their jobs. Instead of ensuring due process, they rubber stamp CPS recommendations without truly hearing cases. And who are these CPS workers making life-altering decisions? Most are young, inexperienced college graduates with no real-world understanding of family dynamics. They follow bureaucratic checklists, removing children based on policy and not on facts. Now that the Chevron defense has been overturned, CPS is no longer unchecked authority to make and enforce its own rules. Judges must start recognizing this. They can't keep blindly approving CPS actions without hearing all the evidence. The law must require jury trials in cases where a parent's fundamental right to raise his or her child is at stake. And most importantly, these mandatory reporter system needs to be abolished. It has turned innocent families into permanent suspects, ensuring that false reports, misunderstanding, and vengeful accusations can lead to state-sanctioned child kidnapping. For too long, CPS and its allies have operated outside the bounds of the Constitution, shielded by secrecy, corrupt statutes, and a legal system that refuses to fight back. And that time is over. The American-made foundation has formed a United Law Coalition, a national network of legal experts, constitutional attorneys, and fearless advocates dedicated to exposing and dismantling the unconstitutional overreach of CPS, state agencies, corrupt judges, and complicit lawyers. To those in power who have profited from the destruction of families, who have ignored due process, and who have trampled parental rights under the guise of child welfare, we're coming for you. The days of hiding behind unconstitutional statutes are over. If you're a judge rubber stamping illegal removals, if you have a CPS worker abusing authority, and you all are, if a lawyer who refuses to challenge these unlawful statutes, you will be exposed. The United Law Coalition and the American-Made Foundation are prepared to educate the public and take legal action against every state agency that refuses to adhere to the Constitution. To the parents and families who have suffered, we know this. You're not alone. You're not powerless. The fight is just beginning. The American people are waking up, and justice is coming. Now, whenever I read this, I think of where CPS has done overreach, but also know that sometimes CPS doesn't do its job because it has become more of how much money they can make in these situations. And sometimes CPS is not on top of the game. So if you see any kind of child abuse that you suspect, you report it. But if you do, just know that you should have to face the people that you're accusing of this. That's my thought. James Carville inadvertently reveals why Dems are on such a spectacular losing streak. The oafened old corruptocrat enabler James Carville is now 80 years old, but he isn't slowing down despite a string of losses and failed predictions. It is now 4 months ago, in the final days before the election, that he published a happy piece in New York Times giving reasons why he was certain that Camel Toe would be elected president of the United States. Since then, he has remained undaunted, is now crowing that Trump administration will collapse within a month. That will be a good cause for small celebration. Pull this column out in late March, pop open a beer, and toast yet another false prophecy from old Snake Boy. In the course of his endless pontifications, however, Carville has inadvertently revealed why Democrats he loves so much keep losing elections. Carville has demonstrated and openly admitted that he doesn't understand one of the simplest, clearest issues, the public square today, one on which Trump has massive support. If Jimmy can't figure out why Republicans are winning on that one, he has strayed so far from having any kind of accurate understanding of what the electorate is interested in and what it wants to see done, that he is unlikely ever to issue an accurate prediction again if he ever did. The Daily Caller noted Monday that Republicans have made protecting female athletes a political priority. With President Donald Trump signing an executive order on February 5th to prevent males from competing on women's sports teams, Carville, however, mocked GOP efforts on the issue in a YouTube video, suggesting it was insignificant and expressing confusion about why it even matters. And apparently, in the mode of giving advice to Republicans that he hoped they would run with and lose, Carville said, "You need to make this front and center in your agenda. And if you feel like that you have to protect these girls, I'm not sure what. I really don't effing understand or give a shit. But it's a big gosh darn issue with you. So you got to be sure that you go out there and be ready to go." Really, he's not sure what Republicans believe they have to protect girls from. If that's true, Carville has spent far too much time slithering around in the grass and eating gopher, and far too listening to Riley Gaines, and not enough listening to Riley Gaines talk about Leah Thomas and other female athletes describe how they feel when some long-haired guy is standing up there with a first place trophy and they've come up empty after training for 6 years. Old James clearly doesn't know or care about the socio-cultural implications of this, or without impugning of women's sports and women in general that it involves. Thinks it's a distraction from the issues that people really care about. That was the tack Carville took next, saying, and whether this topic comes up, say, look, I'm sorry, I just don't think a lot of track meets. I think a lot of people have affordable health care. I think about how we can grow America. I think a lot about they're not going to be able to pass a debt limit, not even close, much less reconciliation, anything else. And of course, I've had a little fun here. I love to have fun. I love to mock and make fun of these effing idiots. Yeah, mocking idiots is big fun. So Carville should be on that lookout for some incoming mockery. As the caller points out, at nearly 80% of Americans believe that biological males should not be allowed to compete in women's sports, according to January New York Times poll. That plays out in the election that Carville was certain Camel Toe would win. The caller also stated that GOP advertisements portraying former Vice President Camel Toe Harris as being too far left on transgender issues were some of the most effective campaign messages of the 2024 election cycle, according to multiple reports. Carville demonstrated much of the same myopia on Sean Hannity's Fox News on Thursday. Hannity said, "I see a lot of Democrats do support men, the right to play women's sports. You're not addressing those key issues that are." Carville then interrupted him to say, "I don't know if anybody that's sitting there worrying about who plays on the high school track meet. I really don't. You go and worry about the high school track meet. I'm sorry about people getting good health care, okay? We agree to disagree." Yeah, we will. And we'll watch as the Dems, as they follow the Carville's lead here, continuing to lose elections. He doesn't understand the things that actually matter to Americans. And that is the bottom line. Good morning. Good morning. I don't know anything about either. You ate your quarter CBD gummy received for your birthday. Your son said it would help you walk. I seriously doubt it will repair my spinal cord. Maybe it will give me a buzz. It tasted like lawn clippings. That's usually what happens. If you're eating the grass, it's going to taste like grass. But I do have to send out, thoughts and condolences for the family of Roberta Flack. One of the truest great American music is gone. Roberta Flack has passed away at the age of 88. We're heartbroken that this glorious Roberta Flack passed away this morning, February 24th, 2025. Her spokesperson said in a statement, she died peacefully surrounded by her family. Roberta broke boundaries and records. She was also a proud educator. Flack experienced her greatest success in the first half of the 1970s, but she recorded well into her 70s, releasing her last single at the age of 79. She won 5 Grammys, including 2 consecutive trophies for Record of the Year and Lifetime Achievement Award in 2020. She sold nearly 8 million albums throughout a career that spanned 6 decades. She was born in North Carolina and raised in Virginia, and she received a classic piano training as a child. As a teenager, she performed Handel's Messiah on piano with her church choir. She began her teaching career, but moonlighted in jazz clubs around Washington, D.C. It was one of those clubs where legendary jazzman Les McCann discovered her and helped her secure a contract with Atlantic Records. Her voice touched, trapped, and kicked the very first emotion I've ever known, recalled McCann in the liner notes for Flack's debut album, First Take, in 1969. I laughed, cried, and screamed for more. She alone had the voice. Flack's first two albums made a minor splash, but her career didn't take off until Clint Eastwood included a track from First Take in his 1971 film Play Misty for Me. Atlantic released The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face as a single. It spent 6 weeks at number one on Billboard Hot 100 and won her a Grammy for Record of the Year. Her 1972 albums of duets with soul singer Donny Hathaway won her another Grammy, and she had another massive hot hit with Killing Me Softly with his song, which topped the charts for 5 weeks, won her 5 Grammys for Record of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Performance Female. Flack had one number one hit on the Hot 100 with Feel Like Making Love. She produced it herself using the nickname she gave herself as a child, Rubina Flake. She had a few more hits, and throughout her years, including duets with Hathaway, Peebo Bryson, reggae singer Maxi Priest. Her duet with Priest, Set the Night to Music, gave her her last top 10 pop hit. One of my favorite moments of her career was her appearance on a Christmas compilation album that Christian music label Myrrh Records released in 1990, alongside with luminaries like Amy Grant, Al Green, the Reverend Al Green, Michael W. Smith. Flack contributed her elegance on What Child Is This? Her last full-length album in 2012 was a collection of Beatles covers, which she recorded in her inimitable style. What Flack desired more than anything else was to perform classical music. She did, performing with symphony orchestras for years. In 1975, she told Time magazine that she felt like the music industry pigeonholed her soul, jazz, and pop. One of the hassles of being a black female musician is that people are always backing you into a corner and telling you to sing soul, she said. I'm a serious artist. I feel kinship with people like Arthur Rubinstein and Glenn Gould. If I can't play Hungarian composer Bela Bartok when I want to play Bartok, then nothing else matters. It doesn't make me very popular in certain communities. In her later years, health issues plagued her. She suffered from ALS, which took away her ability to sing and forced her to retire in 2022. As a singer, I can't imagine how difficult that must have been for her. However, there's no official cause of death as now, and there's plenty of tributes pouring in to the wonderful, glorious Roberta Flack. With her crystal clear voice, piano virtuosity, and impeccable ability to interpret a song, there was nobody classier than Roberta Flack. There has been no one like her, and there probably never will be again. May she rest in peace. There we go. I had to talk about that because it was probably one of the biggest losses to the music industry is losing Roberta Flack's wonderful voice and outlook. It will be missed. Good morning. Sure is Texas Cowboy Clean House for your birthday. Oh yeah. We got more news. The Democrat Party is starving to death. It's a straightforward, simple formula. Politicians need money, lots and lots of money to stay in power. It isn't exactly true since the re-election rates are sky high anyway, but I guess when it's their jobs on the line, it's all hands on decks. Business lust over the power of politicians, the right tax break, or the wrong regulations can make or break your company. That's a hell of a motivator. And not too long ago, when politicians had minimal control over businesses, businesses generally ignored politicians. No point alienating half your audience, right? But in today's age of crony capitalism, favor peddling, and partisan lawfare, businesses can't afford to be apolitical anymore. It's too expensive. Instead, they've got to pick a side, pay the admission fees, basically the protection racket that Italian gentlemen perfected in the 1950s. This is what happens when politicians meddle in business. They're rewarded with riches and showered with money because it's easier to bribe them than to fight them. It's just too dangerous out there today. Your business needs DC muscle to survive. This means that you must pick one of the two major crime families, the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. You've got to pick one side or the other, as Roddy Piper explained it. Now, I'm not showing the showing that because that will get me in trouble with showing Rowdy Piper. So the businesses give money to the politicians when the politicians do favors for the businesses, helping them out, kneecapping their rivals. That's how the political game is played. For most of the past 50 years, neither party has been incentivized to change the rules of the game. Hey, why should they? In a binary political system, both sides benefited from the arrangements. One side is selling candy, cookies, and sugary snacks. The other side is selling diet food and weight loss pills. Whoever side of the ledge you're on, one of the two parties will be lining their pockets. It's a fantastic system for entrenched oligarchs. But the trouble is the system has a fatal flaw. What happens when one of the crime families loses their muscle? There's no point, after all, in paying protection money to someone who can't protect you. And the Hill published a fascinating story today. Angry Democrat donors turn off the flow of money. The first two quotes said it all. I'll be blunt here. The Democrat Party is effing terrible, plain and simple, said one major Democrat donor. In fact, it doesn't get much worse. A second donor was equally as pointed. They want us to spend money, and for what? For no message, no organization, no forward thinking, the donor said. The thing is, it's clear to a lot of us that the party will never really learn its lesson. In 2016, they worked off the same playbook and the same ineffective strategies. And to what end? The three scariest letters to the Democrat Party aren't GOP, it's ROI, return on investment. Right now, there just isn't any. Businesses might as well be setting their money on fire, because the worst part is that torching their own money would be safer. Since they're aligned with losing losers of the Democrat Party, not only did they waste their money, they're now vulnerable to political reprisals. This is worse than 2016, the first Democratic donor said. Our party is so weak and so diminished. Folks are saying right now what the Democrat Party is to me is an investment. I'm hearing from DNC members. They don't really believe where we're at right now. They don't believe that we can counter Trump, so why lose dollars? The Democrat Party is starving to death. It lost its muscle, it lost its turf, but that doesn't mean it's dead and buried. Eventually, a new godfather will rebuild the crime family and monetize a new racket. Leave the bribe, take the cannoli. Still, it gives MAGA a brief, flickering opportunity to pursue its agenda with minimal pushback. This opportunity won't last forever. D.C. is still a two-party con game, so enjoy it while you can. Forget it, Jake. It's D.C. General Rickles, and for the rest of us, there's too much month at the end of the money. Thank you, General. I appreciate you. That is so wonderful. Yes, there is always a little bit of money that you got to hold over. Keep it for a rainy day. Thank you very much. Thank you for that support. That really is appreciated. I hope that you're doing well this morning. Your goats aren't showing up. Oh, your deers aren't showing up. I got you. I understand now. And I believe I talked about this yesterday. Yeah, I did talk about that yesterday. And I don't want to talk about that one. Oh boy. And yeah, we're circling back around. We're circling back around to this one. An ode to Joy Reid, her favorite sidekick, the little mustachio guy. Here in the readout on Joy has been canceled. Her show with Perfectly Insider Washington titled The Readout. Yes, the latter two words were slammed together, representing the highlights of a presidential phone call or meeting has been canceled. The latest episode of Joy Reid's Perfectly Awful show is expected to air sometime this week. It's possible Joy's devoted sidekick, Adolf, could go in with her, but this is MSNBC, and the mustachioed one could end up with a recurring role on yet another one of the network's shows. As you know, Reid has been one of the most dishonest brokers of information this side of Rachel Maddow and her Russian collusion conspiracy theories, Alpha Bank claptrap, and the illegal leak of Donald Trump's tax forms, which showed he paid taxes and gave away money to charity. She's no polemistic. She can't reach that high. Joy Reid is a leftist shill for wild-eyed race-baiting and iniquitous conspiracy theories, as long as they all point to the little mustachioed guy. Reid's true north points towards Hades. Matt's treatment of Reid's show cancellation is worth a read. The title should give you an idea. But MSNBC Joyce Reid has been canceled. I can't stop laughing. Neither can I. This ramp alien never met a little Austrian artist or a metaphor that didn't point to Donald Trump ever. Every night after night. Throughout the run-up to the 2024 election, Reid said that the Democrats' moral imperative, what they do, everything to keep the Austrian artist out of the White House. When some crackpot teenage shooter took her up on that idea, she suggested that Trump staged his own shooting in the July 13th assassination attempt. Reid compared Trump getting shot by a sniper, jumping up and doing some fist bumps, urging backers to fight, to Joe Biden recovering from the coup and the case of the sniffles. Reid claimed after the election that Trump had brought the assassination attempts on himself because the idea of political violence that we've been nursing really is so dangerous. So dangerous that you cannot avoid the consequences of it, even if you're the one of the people promoting it. And who was promoting that again, Joy? Some speculate that her baseless claims of Trump staging his own assassination attempt may have been the beginning of the end for Joy, but I also think Joy's devotion to her favorite character on the program, the little Austrian artist, and his national party might have been problematic too. Indeed, if MSNBC viewers get tired of being told the same bedtime story every night. In January of 2024, she compared Trump to the Austrian artist by saying Trump was helping fascism to take root in America. 1 month before the election, she claimed on a podcast without evidence that Trump admires the Austrian artist. Waxing on, he wanted to institute a Austrian artist style fascism in America because that's not a mentally ill position or anything. Right after the election, she called the entire state of Florida fascist. And notwithstanding actual moves Trump made last month, Reid claimed that Trump is an Austrian artist because the similarities to what happened in Germany and what's happening now are undeniable. Reid does more race baiting than Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump combined. America is racist. Trump is a racist. Republicans are racist. Everyone but her. She called Trump's 2020 appeal to voters a straight shot, no chaser, straight to the veins racism. Reid claimed that white people in red states only care about black peoples and minorities if they get their behinds into the factory and make my steaks, make me my stuff. Reid's one-trick pony could have been too much for the suits in New York, maybe. Perhaps removing Reid from her show is another way to keep Trump from filing defamation lawsuits against her and her network. He's done it before. In 2023, Trump sued CNN for comparing him to the Austrian artist, which was dismissed. Trump has successfully sued and won settlements against George Stephanopoulos and ABC News for falsely calling him a grapist and settling a lawsuit with both Twitter and Facebook for the First Amendment violations against the president. He's threatened a lawsuit against CBS News for election interference for editing Camel Toe's interview to make her sound better. One thing's for sure. Joy will land somewhere. She'd be a natural on The View, or she could probably get a cushy teaching post at a local university that has no standards. Wild, isn't it? There you go. See, I'm not MAGA. I'm not a liberal either. I'm a moderate Republican. And some people are. Some people are, some people are not. And it's okay. It's absolutely okay to be feeling a little left out, but don't worry. You're always welcome here. You enjoy this so much, and I enjoy you guys so much. Yeah, and of course, it's a stupid theory, but this is what people tend to say that are uninformed. I mean, and it's so bad that even if you're a moderate Republican, people will still try to call you racist, bigoted, misogynistic, far right extremist. And I mean, you know, my lovely wife is liberal, always has been, probably always will be. I don't know. Having a conversation over the weekend with somebody, whenever we were talking with them. They said, "Oh, well, I just wanted to know, where you guys sort of stood politically." And I was like, we're opposite politically." And the lady looks and she goes, "You don't tell me you're one of those MAGA Republicans." I was like, "I'm conservative." It was, how does it matter what I believe in that? Like this is some sort of dirty word or something. And of course, my wife is she was just like you know how that makes you look. It's like, why do you think I'm ashamed of what I believe? I mean, if you're ashamed of what you believe, whether you're hardcore conservative, I'm not ashamed of my beliefs. I find them to be my beliefs. They don't always line up with everybody else, but those are my core fundamental beliefs. And you can't take those away from me. Just like I wouldn't want to take my wife's beliefs completely away from her because it makes her the person that she is. For better or for worse, that's who she is. She's the on your feet, how you stand. Many of you have hit the like button. Please go hit that like. Go hit that thumbs up. Absolutely. And that brings me to my next story here. The modern feminism makes women miserable. The best thing modern feminists could do for all women is to tell them reject feminism. The Institute for Family Studies recently analyzed findings from the annual American Family Survey. It found 30% of conservative women ages 18 to 40 said they were completely satisfied with life, but only 12% of the liberal women that age were. That's a shocking disparity, but it's not an outlier finding. In 21, Columbia University professors put out a study on depression among 12th graders looking at data from 2005 to 2018. They found female liberals reported worse than internalizing symptom scores over the study period than other groups. In 2017, by a Penn State University professor, noted politically conservative participants were significantly more optimistic and satisfied with life than their liberal counterparts. A 2008 study in psychological science said, why are conservatives happier than liberals? It cited a 2006 Pew survey showing 47% of conservative Republicans called themselves very happy, while only 28% of liberal Democrats did the same. The researchers from Columbia speculated that the political events might have contributed to liberal depression. Republicans made political gains in the 2010s, including the election of then President Donald Trump. The researchers claimed issues like global warming, structural racism, and pervasive sexism became unavoidable features of political discourse. The implication is that liberals are depressed because they care so much about the world's problems. While that may sound noble, stressing out about something you can't control isn't virtue. It can lead to a learned helplessness. If people believe their choices won't improve things, they often give up or make worse choices. Little wonder researchers often connect learned helplessness to depression. While this is a factor, there's a deeper explanation. Feminists originally argued for equal opportunity in voting, education, and in the workplace. That happened. But second wave feminists went further. They disparaged marriage and religion as tools of the patriarchy. They didn't view children as a source of deep meaning and fulfillment, but rather an obstacle to career success. Third and fourth wave feminists went beyond that. Many contend that the different outcomes between men and women are solely the result of societal expectations. These ideas have gone so far that leftists now claim men can become women. Why some men would willingly give up power of the patriarchy is never quite explained. These ideas have gained tremendous cultural power, especially on the left. As a result, liberals are less likely to be married, to go to church, or to have kids. But these choices haven't brought joyous liberation, just the opposite. As Brad Wilcox lays out in his book, Get Married, married men and women are around twice as likely to be very happy as their single counterparts. An obvious factor in that is loneliness. Single, childless adults are more than twice as likely as married individuals to say they're always or almost always lonely, Wilcox noted. Historically, single individuals found community and connection in church or synagogue, but liberals are less likely to attend religious services. So if women want to be happy, they should embrace what modern feminists falsely claim is the patriarchy. I hope you enjoyed that. From Victor Jokes. That's got to be funny. A columnist before the Las Vegas Review Journal. Way to go. That was beautifully well fed. Been lurking and listening while trying to have a sufficient caffeine to fully function. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Kathy Stewart. Oh, such a lovely child you have there. It's wonderful. Imagine wanting your government to be fiscally responsible, good steward of our tax dollars, and spend the bulk of those tax dollars on issues affecting our own country first. Shameful thought, isn't it? Yes, it is a shameful thought. Good morning, Dawn Messenger. Good morning. Good morning. I love that. That was a beautiful picture. Can't wait to see Doge start looking at how these senators and congressmen got to be millionaires on their government salary. Isn't it amazing? Well, everyone knows how that happened. It's the funding that comes in and backs them. That's how they've managed to get very rich. That is something that helped them to get very, very, very rich. And let's see, I think this will be our last one here. President Donald Trump has a plan to save Europe, and the results of Sunday's election in Germany show it's working. The center-right Christian Democrats won most seats in the Bundestag. The party's leader, Friedrich Merz, pledges at once he become chancellor. My absolute priority will be to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible so that step by step we can really achieve independence from the USA. The legislature's largest opposition party, the hard-right Alternative for Germany, might not agree with Merz's support for Ukraine, but it's often accused of favoring Russia, but it too wants Germany to have more military independence and will pressure Merz to live up to his words. Surely this means disaster for NATO, and won't that be catastrophic for Europe? In fact, Germany with greater strength of its own is exactly what NATO needs. Responsibility for defending Europe was shared more fairly between American and European allies during the Cold War, when West Germany, the UK, and others maintained significant military establishments of their own. But in the decades since the Soviet Union's implosion, Europe's most advanced nations have let their capabilities atrophy. More than 500,000 West Germans were serving in the military when Berlin Wall was torn down. Today, the number of citizens on active duty in Germany is about 180,000, even as Europe's largest war since 1945 rages in Ukraine. These paltry service numbers are not only an indication of military unreadiness, they're a symptom of widespread European unwillingness to fight. Gallup International polling last year found less than a third of adults in European Union member states would agree to take up arms in defense of their homelands. Worldwide, according to Gallup, the places citizens are at least willing to fight for their country are Italy, Austria, Germany, Nigeria, and Spain. One developing African state and 4 rich European ones, 3 of them NATO members. As Trump sees it, America is getting ripped off by NATO allies with the money and men to provide for more of their own defense, but which choose to have America provide it instead. And they're getting a free ride, or at least heavily subsidized one, off of Americans' taxpayers. Political elites through Europe aren't just selfish, however, they are scared. Their fear is if they have to spend more on defense, their nation's already unsustainable warfare systems will collapse. With furious voters, well, they'll throw them out of power for good. The irony is that making Americans shoulder a huge disproportionate share of the cost of defending Europe, the continent's leaders actually help foster conditions for populist backlash in America, which is why Europe now has to deal with Trump. Yet, if Europe's leaders are dare to learn the tough lesson that Trump is teaching, Europe and NATO will both grow stronger. And that's not just because NATO will have more troops, and its European members will have to recommit to standing up for their own border as well as their neighbors. But it's also because rebuilding Europe's armed forces will in fact have the opposite effect that the elites dread. Far from destabilizing Germany and other states where voters are increasingly unhappy about economic conditions, more military spending will restore national cohesion, which prosperity alone is never enough to sustain. Since the Cold War ended, European elites have seen their countries as little more than administrative zones where the desire for an easy life is one thing uniting everybody. The truth is, nations are built on readiness to share in sacrifice, not prosperity. To the extent greater military preparedness regenerates patriotism, it will help restore social solidarity within Europe's nations. As well, military service can integrate citizens across class divides, regional differences. The American experience absolutely shows that. And an elite whose members put their lives on the line earns popular respect that merely financial and intellectual elite can never command. Such an elite becomes invested in the rest of society by serving alongside men and women from other classes. It's a source of noblesse oblige. Germany urgently needs a board-based national institution to unite its economically and culturally divided East and West. The alienation from former East Germany from the West is what supplies AfD its electoral base. Of course, an elite with a whole society ready to take greater responsibility for its national borders in a military context is more likely to be serious about protecting them in the context of migration as well. 8 decades after World War II, Europe faces danger not from German militarism, but from an inadequate moral, as well as material and investment in defense. Europe needs a renewed spirit of self-reliance, not necessarily as a replacement for NATO, but as the very thing that makes such alliances possible. Welcome, good morning, have a good day. And y'all, I have a foster dog to train. Awesome, I'm just me. You take care of that foster dog. Please do. Love those fosters. It's good to see you. Just me. You have a wonderful, wonderful day and be good. Like, seriously, be really good. Everybody have a good day. I will be streaming tonight, probably a little bit late, unless I come up with something, which I've got something, like I said, I've had it on the back burner for probably about 3 weeks now, and I'm wanting to cover it, but oh my God, the hail stuff just keeps firing off and getting crazier every single time I see it. So we'll see what today brings. I'm sure there's going to be more pleadings and filings, and we'll go over them as much as possible. I had a blast with you guys last night writing music. It was so much fun. Just coming up with all these goofy songs and getting the music down with it. And I think maybe I'll work on one of those earlier tonight before I stream and let you guys know how it turned out. But I did have quite a good time last night. Thank you very much, everybody. I will see you on the flip side of things. And today is just another Tuesday. We're working towards that hump. Love the chat song. Yeah, I want to work on that one a little bit and sort of fine tune the lyrics on it and make that much, much better. I did have fun with the chat song, but also had fun with the Mocking the Bubbles song. That was a good time. If you didn't see it, go check it out. We had a blast last night. Everybody, see you on the flip side. Peace, y'all.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah. Oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you show Mo some love.